What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espion here. Welcome back to the next episode of the Pokemon Gold Randomizer Nuzlocke. In the last episode, we got off the SS Aqua, and we arrived in Kanto, and so now we are fighting this gym right here, Vermilion City Pokemon Gym. And I suspect this statue says the same thing? Vermilion City Pokemon Gym. Yes, it does. Okay. And what does this guy have to say? Yo, champ in making! You lucked out this time. Lieutenant Surge is very cautious. He has traps set all over the gym. But, heh, the traps aren't active right now. You'll have no problem getting to Lieutenant Surge. Yes, thank goodness they ditched this awful puzzle. Oh, my self-defy trainers. Lieutenant Surge recognized my potential with electric Pokemon. Think you can beat me? That depends. Are you wasting your potential by not using any electric Pokemon, or are you actually using those electric Pokemon? Let's see. Ooh, I like that sprite! That's a new sprite that we've never seen before, I think. I don't think we've seen that trainer sprite before. And this new music is fire! Oh my gosh, the Kanto battle music is nice. It sounds familiar. Is this like the Kanto? Is this like the battle theme in like the Kanto games, but like a little bit remixed? Because it sounds familiar yet different. Like distinctly different from what I've heard before, but it sounds like something I've heard before. It sounds distinctly different from anything I've heard before, but it sounds like something I've heard before, you know? So I think it might be a remix of the battle theme from the original, like, Red and Blue. That's cool if it is. Gentleman Pansy sent out Rapidash. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I recognize this song, but, like, it doesn't sound exactly like what I recognize. And I feel like I do think that it is from Pokemon Red and Blue. It would make sense that I would recognize it then, because Pokemon Red and Blue obviously is the randomized Nuzlocke I did most recently, so that would be fresh in my mind. Because it means I played that game recently. I mean, not that recently, obviously, at this point, because this series has taken over a year thus far, but, it is still semi-recently in comparison to, like, other Pokemon games I played through Gen 1. So, yeah, it is something I would recognize. I do think I like the original song better, but I'm glad that they remixed it. I think that it's interesting that they decided to throw a little remix in there. However, I think I do like the original, like, Johto. I do like the Johto trainer theme better, and I'm afraid this is gonna get old. Like, I really like the Johto trainer theme, and I really like the Kanto trainer theme in, like, the original Pokemon Red and Blue, but this one feels a little odd, to the point where I don't know if I really like it all that much. Like, it's good, but it's not as good as the other ones, and it hits some weird, like, it makes some weird noises that I don't think I'm a fan of. Like, they threw some weird noises in there, and I think that it really kind of throws me off, because I'm expecting the old song. Maybe I just have to get used to it. Maybe it's not like that it's bad or I don't like it. Maybe it's just something I have to get used to, like the new aspects of it, but I don't know, it just feels off in a way that kind of annoys me. It kind of irks me, the way it's like slightly off and the notes seem kind of like off-pitch, but I guess that is like remixing things, is like changing the pitch of them, adding extra notes, adjusting the beat a little bit. But right now, it doesn't sound, like, very good to me, it just sounds, like, different. Not good, just different. So this Suicune's using Gust. It does have a move that's super effective on us, because we're a fighting type. But, and we're just missing submissions left and right, oh my gosh. But, honestly, I think it might be better off going for just, like, a not very effective water-type stab move, because that Gust is not doing a lot. It is honestly kind of crazy to me that, like, at level 32, this thing still has Gust. I mean, I wonder what water-type stab move it has. Certainly it has something better than Water Gun, right? I mean, I get that, like, level-up movesets are nothing to write home about in this game. But, like, even still, like, 40 base power move at level 32 on a Legendary? It's like, you'd think Legendaries would have better level-up learn sets than, like, most other Pokemon, but it seems like that thing is still, like other Pokemon in this game, in the same boat, where it's like, their level up moveset just isn't good. Like, I guess that's just how level up movesets work in older Pokemon games. It's like, if you want the good moves, you have to use, HMs. Not HMs, you have to use TMs. Well, I guess HMs provide some pretty good moves, too. But if you want the good moves, you have to use TMs, I guess, in older Pokemon games, because the level up movesets just don't do it, even with legendaries. Which I find odd. And I know that, like, up to level 20, I feel like, even then, like, okay, I get that it's, like, coverage, and it's not stab. But I feel like in old Pokemon games, even, like, Gen 1, I feel like Zapdos and, I feel like Zapdos, Moltres, Articuno still have, like, Drill Peck. Or maybe that's just, like, modern Pokemon, and I'm mistaken. But I feel like they still have, like, a pretty darn good flying-type move right from the beginning. And I get that that's, like, because it's stab, like, they need a good stab move from the beginning. But, so, maybe Suicune has, like, Water Pulse, or Scald from the beginning. Like, a slightly better, like, a better Water-type move than Water Gun from the beginning. With better move than, like, the 40 power. But Gust is just, it just looks pitiful. And I get that that's not the stab, so it would probably get better stab moves at that point. But even still, like, 40 power on a level 32 legendary is kind of crazy. Ooh, how shocking! Honestly, I think it would have been better if that Suicune didn't have Gust, because it just was, like, baited into using Gust by its bad AI, because I had a fighting type out, when honestly it probably would have been a lot better if it just went for the stab water type move. I'm going to take you down. Prepare to be shocked, especially because Suicune is a special attacker. I feel like, by a lot, it's like quite a big difference between special attack and its physical attack, and flying type moves are physical. So that even more so contributed to that, that Gust being bad, not doing a lot of damage. Yeah, I'll go for the Psychic, because this thing, despite the fact that it uses Psychic type moves, is not actually a Psychic type. It is pure water, despite, I don't know if it's popular belief. I don't know if a lot of people get confused with that. I certainly get confused with that every once in a while. I more so get confused with, Star You and Star Me. I think, and I don't know if that's, again, I don't know if that's how most people, feel, but for me, I get confused whether Psyduck and Golduck are Psychic types a bunch of the time, like, quite, I get confused as to whether Psyduck and Golduck are Psychic types sometimes, but more often, I get confused as to whether Starmie and Staryu are Psychic types. Right now, honestly, I couldn't tell you if Starmie and Staryu are Psychic types. I don't know. Meanwhile, I could tell you right now that Psyduck and Golduck are just pure water. Like, it confuses me sometimes, Psyduck and Golduck, but it's not as bad as with Starmie and Staryu, where I, like, still don't know it right now. So Poliwag's coming in, and we're just gonna keep on Psychicking, honestly. What's to stop me? Double Slap? That's not gonna stop me. I'm just gonna keep on using that Psychic. I like, in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I like that, what they, so, as I said, I finished the Society of Light saga, recently, and I'm glad that they brought back the girl who was, like, had a crush on Zane. But I'm kind of confused as to, like, why. You know? Like, I'm glad to see that they brought back a character that I didn't think was coming back, but it seems like she's gonna be part of, like, the permanent cast now since she's, like, in the theme song. New theme song, by the way, a bop. But, initial reaction is kind of just like, wow, she's back. That is strange, because I thought she was just some random one-off character that they were using for, like, one episode's theme of, like, oh, it's a girl who, like, fights with love because she's in love with in love with an older guy that she idolizes, right? I thought it was just for that one, instance of, like, them fighting a love deck, you know, in special, unique one-off episode where they fight a deck of this theme, but, that was not in fact the case. I guess she's now a more permanent member of the cast. So I don't really know how to feel about that besides, like, it's cool that she's back. Like, it's cool when they bring back characters that you didn't think they'd bring back, usually. But, the thing is that I just don't know why she's back. I don't know what she's gonna add to the series. And I was the same way when they introduced, like, Tyranno Kenzan. I was like, what is he gonna add? And to be honest, I still don't know what he added. Like, he's... The whole Society of Light saga later, I'm like, why did he turn into a T-Rex at the end and fly into space? Like, what's going on here? Gah! I was overpowered! You know, like, anyone Sayo beats becomes a part of the Society of Light, but then Sayo beat Kenzin, and Kenzin was... And he's like, why did you not become a part of the Society of Light? And Kenzin was like, well, I'm half dinosaur, so... And it's like, okay, but, like, why? Like, he didn't become a member of the Society of Light when Sayo beat him because he's part dinosaur. But, like, why does that make a difference? Like, why does that do anything? It's one of those, like, oh, wow, interesting. But, like, what are the logistics of this, actually? Any human being that, Sayo beats in a duel becomes part of the Society of Light and is forced to become his pawn and, like, entranced into... It goes into, like, a trance of serving him. Except Kenzin, because he's part dinosaur, I guess. It's like, what? Kenzin confuses me. Don't get too comfortable about beating me. Lieutenant Surge is tough. So yeah, I was confused about... I am to this day pretty confused about what, like, Tyranno Kenzin's, what role he plays in this series. After what happened with Bastion, and the sort of falling out that they had with Bastion over the course of the Society of Light saga, where Bastion, where they like sort of looked down on Bastion because he let himself lose, so that Sayo would be around to praise him. You know, like they painted him as being like desperate for attention to the point of letting Sayo win, and that being like something to look down at him for. Overall, they just painted him as like very desperate for attention, and they painted that as a very negative trait of his, and so they painted him as sort of like traitorous in a way, where he sacrificed the ability to get rid of Sayo so that he could, for his own selfish goal of being praised. He wanted Sayo's praise, so he said like, if I beat you, Sayo, then you leave the island, and then Sayo was like, well, if you beat me, no one will be around to praise you. And then he's like, oh wait, so I gotta lose. And then everybody looked at that and was like, well, Bastion could have beat him, but instead, because of his own selfish desire to be praised, he let Sayo win. And so then Bastion's morality, like his morals kind of got shamed for that. You know, like that's the way his brain works, that he considers being praised more important than saving the world, and then he kind of got looked at as like a traitor with bad morals, right? They sort of were dragging his moral compass through the dirt. So I guess, to an extent, Kenzin is just there to replace Bastion, because Bastion, by this point, is someone who the main characters no longer really like, I suppose, or maybe it's just a temporary falling out, and Bastion will be back, and they'll learn to forgive Bastion for letting Sayo stay on the island, because of his own selfishness and his desire to be praised. But I don't know. For now, that's how I see it, is that Tyranno Kenzin is just like a stand-in for Bastion. You're here to defeat Lieutenant Surge? Not if I can help it. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's his primary goal. Obviously, he served the goal of aiding in the destruction of the satellite, or like the shutting down of the satellite, but like I don't even know what that really means. Like, Naos brought him up into space with him. Naos astral projected himself off the battlefield and then turned Tyranno Kenzin into a dinosaur, and they flew up into space and they fought the satellite, and I'm like, what is happening? The Society of Light saga ending is so confusing, and it's like, what is even going on? Is any of this even real? Because then Tyranno Kenzin like wakes up, and it's like implied that was just a dream, but it's also implied partially that it's like it wasn't. He was actually a dinosaur up in space fighting a satellite. It's like, what? What is this? Why is Tyranno Kenzin even here? What purpose does he serve? I love him. I think he's awesome. I love the character, but like, he confuses me. I think in the Society of Light saga, he serves the very specific purpose of being sort of like a stand-in for Bastion, and also kind of, if you think about it, Chumley, because Chumley was, prior to the Society of Light saga, like one of the two people who were like who were, like, aligned with Jaden and being like, Jaden, you got this! He was, like, one of the two Jaden cheerleaders, so to speak. It was, like, Cyrus and Chumlee, who were the people who were, like, constantly behind Jaden. And I think that when Chumlee left, Tyranno Kenzin, like, a spot opened up for Tyranno Kenzin to be, like, the new person who is always behind Jaden and always backing him. So then it went from, like, Cyrus and Chumlee being, Jaden's two main guys to, like, Cyrus and Tyranno Kenzin being Jaden's two main guys. So I think he partially, in the Society of Light saga, he served the dual purpose of partially replacing Chumlee and also partially replacing Bastion later on, when Bastion sort of, like, wavered from the good side, and because of his moral compass and because of the way that he sees, because of the desperation he has to be praised, sort of, like, let Saya win and continue his operations toward destroying the world. So when Bastion essentially turned traitor, Kenzin not only became, like, a replacement for Chumlee, but also sort of a replacement for Bastion, I guess. In terms of, like, the role he serves as, like, an ally of Jaden's. Sorry, I failed you, Lieutenant Surge. Sir. But I think more so serves as a... More so, I think Tyranno Kenzin serves as, like, a replacement for Chumlee, though, because Bastion wasn't really, like, solidly an ally of Jaden, like Chumlee and Kenzin are. Bastion was sort of like an antagonistic force towards Jaden, where he literally made it his goal to beat Jaden by, like, designing all these different decks, right? Like, not nearly as an antagonistic a force toward Jaden as, like, Chaz is, but Bastion is still more of an antagonistic force than, like, Chumlee is, and Tyranno Kenzin definitely isn't an antagonistic force throughout the Society of Light toward Jaden. He is, like, strictly on Jaden's side, whereas Bastion was not. Bastion was out to prove that he was the best, and Bastion created all these decks to try to beat Jaden. He was an ally of Jaden's, yes, but not as strongly an ally of Jaden's as Chumlee was, so therefore I think Tyranno Kenzin being, like, devoutly an ally of Jaden's was more accurately a replacement for Chumlee than Tyranno Kenzin. Tyranno Kenzin was more accurately a replacement for Chumlee for that reason than Bastion was than for Bastion. When I was still in the army, Lieutenant Surge saved my life. Oh wow, that's cool. So yeah, I think that's all the trainers here. But yeah, I think in a way he was a replacement for both. More so Chumlee than Bastion, but in a way he was a replacement for both, I think. Hey, little boy! I have to hand it to you. It may not be very smart to challenge me, but it takes guts. When it comes to electric Pokemon, I'm #1. I've never lost on the battlefield. I'll zap you just like I did my enemies in a war. Neat. I'd like to see you try, man. Give it your best shot. Author Kim really sent out Moltres. Okay, well that's not necessarily zapping me, but that certainly will do some work. Certainly will put in some good work, that Moltres of yours. Okay. We're starting off strong, huh? We're starting with the big guns. Okay. Moltres' speed went up. Is this thing gonna attack me, or is this thing gonna be like the Zapdos that I fought in the Pokemon League, where it's just gonna spam agility and detect? Because if it's just gonna spam agility and detect, that's cool too. But I'd like it if it attacked me, because that would make the video, that would add tension to the video if this thing was a challenge to take down. However, I don't think it will be, because that Ember did minimal damage, and now we're just gonna kill it, right? It's just dead now? Yeah, it's just dead now. Okay. Well, you've met your legendary quota of, like, 1 gym leader gets 1 legendary, so I don't think you're gonna send in another one, but, by the way, the legendary quota is not a real thing. I just said that because, like, that's what I need for, like, an ideal episode, you know? Like, if every gym leader gets 1 legendary, that's like, a pattern. And people like patterns. I like patterns. So, like, you know, for the sake of, like, plot, for the sake of the overarching plot of my series, each gym leader having 1 legendary just feels nice. Also makes it easier to make thumbnails if each gym leader has a legendary. Because then it's like, oh, I fought this gym today. Here's their legendary. Right? And I plop that one in the thumbnail. And I plop that Pokemon of theirs in the thumbnail. But, I switched wrong because I wasn't looking at what Pokemon was coming in, which is not surprising. That happens a lot, but I thought I'd tell y'all anyway in case you didn't pick up on what happened. So Kenya's coming in, and Quagsire is raising special defense, which won't help it take the swing attack. However, I think it could take a couple, even if it's not raising its defense and is instead raising its special defense, because Quagsire is a bulky boy. Oh wait, okay, so it only takes 2 actually. Well, I guess 2 is a couple, so yeah, I'm correct. So it lowered my defense. It upped its special defense, lowered my defense. How about less setup, more attacking? I feel like that would be a good idea, Surge. Maybe keep that in mind for the next time you send out that Quagsire, because I didn't even see what attacks that thing had. Clefable is coming in next. It's a normal type, so it's weak to fighting type moves, so I could send in Judy if Judy wasn't super low. Maybe should have healed Judy before I got in here, but whatever. Who's gonna waste potions on, Lieutenant Surge? My team is quite a bit above his levels. The levels on his team, the levels on my team are quite a bit above the levels on his team, I think. So I don't think I need to use any potions, at least before the battle. I might need to use potions during the battle, but I don't think so with that either. But like, I'm more willing to use them in battle than I am before the battle, because I don't think I need to heal up. I did not think I needed to heal up before this battle. It was not a battle I was scared of, and it's still, frankly, not a battle I'm all that scared of. But if I need to use, like, a potion or 2 in it, it's fine. However, I'm not even near the amount of damage that I would need to reach in order to determine that I needed to do that yet. So maybe this Metronom's going to get something really crazy, and I'm going to be at that damage? No. Still not at the amount of damage to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, I need to heal. I need to use an item. I'm currently still thinking, like, okay, yeah, I can get through this without using any healing items. Because, obviously, after buying all those Hyper Potions for the Pokemon League, I'm a little bit broke. I'm starting to run out of money. So I need to sort of conserve what healing items I have right now, and until I can get enough money to the point where I can, like, continue to reliably get more. Because right now I have more than I need. But, if I use a bunch of them, then I might get to a point where I need to buy more to meet my usual quota of potions that I bring into a gym. And I may not have enough money to do so. So I want to conserve them right now so that when I get below the amount I should have, which is 10, which is that's how much I usually go into a gym with. So that when I get below 10, I want to conserve them now so that when I get below 10, I need to switch out Jean right now. I want to conserve them now so that when I get below 10, I can, who sent it in? Geraldine. Yeah, I want to conserve them now so when I get below 10, by the time I get below 10, I want to conserve them now so that by the time I get below 10, I will have enough money to, reliably keep buying more again. Because right now, I am not at the point where, like, if I got below 10 right now, I could keep on, like, replenishing them. I could probably replenish them, like, once or twice, but I don't think I would have enough money to the point where if I got more from there, like, as I'm replenishing them twice, if I got more while I'm doing that, I don't think I'd be at the point where I'd have enough money to, buy any more. You know what I mean? I think I would have enough money if I used all of my Hyper Potions now. With the amount of money I have, I think I would have enough money to replenish them, my stock of Hyper Potions back up to 10, like, twice before I run out of money. That's what I'm trying to say. Based on the amount of money I'm getting, and, the amount of money I have now. Based on the amount of money I'm getting per battle, and the amount of money I have now. That's what I think. So yeah, right now I do want to conserve them until I can get some more money. Get a fair bit amount more money. A fair bit more money. So I'm gonna beat this Butterfree, and that is the gym done. Oh wait, okay, it took a hit. I wasn't expecting that, in all honesty. But we are gonna kill it with one more move. It's gonna be a Water Gun. It's gonna take it out, and then the gym badge will be ours. Our first gym badge of Kanto will be in our pockets. Butterfree goes down, and that is it. That's all she wrote. It's in the books. All those other, analogies. Arr! You are strong! Okay, boy. You got Thunder Badge. Alex received Thunder Badge. Thunder Badge increases Pokemon speed. Consider it proof that you defeated me. You wear it proudly, you hear? Alright, will do. Thank you, Surge. Alright, so we're gonna exit the gym. And then we're gonna chop down this tree right here. And then we're gonna heal up before I end off the episode, because I don't want to start the next episode not healed, otherwise I might forget to do it and might walk into a battle, forgetting that I haven't healed yet. That will remove it will remove the possibility of that from the table, off the table, if I just do it now. So, yeah, let me just heal up now, before I end off the episode, and make that possible that that might happen. Thank you, Nurse Joy, for your services, not just now, but in the past and in the future. And, that'll do it for today's episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, BB Clan. I'll see you next time. This is Alex Espion, signing off. That was a bad outro. Hold on. Thank you so much for watching, BB Clan. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Alex Espion, signing off. There we go.